Ragnar once declared that he would bring down the English Empire with only 2 ships, a bold proclamation he actually attempted to carry out. He sailed those 2 ships to England, but was unsurprisingly defeated and captured by King Aella. The king tortured Ragnar and ultimately executed him by casting him into a pit of snakes. As the serpents bit him, Ragnar spoke his final, perhaps prophetic words. How the little pigs would squeal if they knew how the old boar suffers. Ragnar met his end at the hands of King Aella, but his legacy lived on through his sons, Hvitserk, Bjorn, Sigurd, Ivar, and Ubi. When they learned of their father's death, they united to seek vengeance. They formed what is now known as the Great Heathen Army, invaded England, and captured King Aella. The brothers tortured and executed him using a method called the blood eagle. In a blood eagle, the victim's ribs are pulled out from their back, and their lungs are drawn through these openings to create the image of wings. Bjorn Ironside, perhaps Ragnar's most famous son, was reputed to be a mighty and seemingly invincible warrior. After avenging his father, Bjorn heard stories of distant southern lands. He led a raiding party into the Mediterranean, plundering parts of the Iberian Peninsula, southern France, and even areas of modern-day Italy. Ragnar was, to say the least, a legendary warlord. It's no surprise that we continue to tell stories about him and his sons today. However, there's a significant problem with the tale of Ragnar Lothbrok. Much of it might not be true. The overwhelming majority of Ragnar's story comes from Scandinavian sagas, which mix fictional legends with historical accounts. It's challenging to discern what's true and what isn't. Ragnar appears in several different sagas from various regions, so he likely was a real person at some point. Nevertheless, nearly every detail of his life, including his very existence, is debated by modern historians. Today, most people are familiar with Ragnar through the TV show Vikings. This is interesting because it helps put into perspective the sagas where Ragnar actually appears. The TV series is essentially a modern saga, blending truth with fiction, and parts that fall somewhere in between. Yet, these stories continue to be retold in our cultural narrative. Just as ancient Norse people shared tales of larger-than-life figures like Ragnar, we're essentially doing the same thing today.